Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. Look, if you're self-employed, where do you go to get a business loan, okay? One of the things that I'm always telling people is to structure yourself correctly so that you can get the maximum amount of funding. This is very important, especially if you possibly a startup or you've just been in business for less than a year. Where do you go to? Well, I have some places that I'm going to tell you about to where you can reach out to see if they're able to help you get more funding. And it's not about the personal credit. They're more or less concerned about the operation of the business, all right? So that's the reason that these here lenders that I'm talking about may have a higher chance, you may have a higher chance of approval. All right, so that being said, the first one, let's talk about BluVine. Now, I know for some of you guys, if you've never dealt with a BluVine, you know, some people say they're difficult to work with, some people not. If you've ever worked with BluVine, put a comment in the, Let me know what was your expectations of BluVine and did they really help you? All right, but I would tell you this. With BluVine, here's the interesting thing about it. You do have to be an LLC or a Corp. So that means you have to be an S Corp or C Corp or something like that. No DBAs, all right? That's the unfortunate thing. So if you're self-employed, you really should be structuring yourself. And the reason you should be structuring yourself so that you can minimize your tax liability. Because if you call yourself self-employed and you steady using your social, you're exposing yourself, okay, to so much financial liability. So, and you're missing out on so much money because you're not actually structured. All right. So that's the reason that I'm telling you should structure. If you don't know how to properly or choose the best structure for yourself, then click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation. Now going back to BluVine. All right. So here's BluVine. Like I said, you have to either be a LLC or some type of corporation. Two is that they want you to have at least a 600 credit score. So they do, you know, trip off of the credit score. But here's something that you could do. If you're an LLC or a Corp, and you may not have the best credit, but you may have a spouse, you may have a sibling, you may have a close friend that has decent credit, what you can do is you can add them to the company and allow them to apply for credit cards and lines of credit for you as well, okay? So don't think that, well, I have bad credit, they're not going to work with me. You can always, like I said, especially when you have somebody that around you that you know that you can trust that can apply for loans for you. So that is an option, all right? So BluVine 600 credit score, you have to be in business at least 6 months, all right? And their monthly revenue, you have to be making at least $10,000 a month. Now that's a lot, especially if you're a startup and you're just building out your base or whatever. That can be a lot. But you know, it's strange enough, most people that I talk to on the phone, they're always saying that they're making 100, 200,000 startups. So I don't know. You know, that's what they're telling me, so I never question or whatever. I'm like, okay. But moving on, now the next lender that you may want to take a look at is Gibit, especially if you're in the side hustle industry, you're self-employed, side hustle and stuff like that, the gig economy, then Gibit Finance may be an option for you as well. Now, there's no credit check. They're not worried about that. You can borrow up to $5,000. I made a video on this as well. You have to be in business at least 3 months, okay? That's one of the things. And you have to have an active checking account, all right? So for those of you that have used Gibit or in the past or have seen my video and actually took a stab at them to see if they're willing to work with you, let me know in the comments. Have you used Gibit? Were they able to give you the money you need to help with your side business, your side hustle, all right? Now, here's the next one, McKenzie Capital. Now, McKenzie Capital, again, they're not tripping off of the credit score. McKenzie Capital it's all about the business. So if your business is doing between $5,000 to $10,000 a month, you have to be in business at least 3 months. No PG, all right, but you have to have an active bank account. So I'm trying to find lenders that's working with you that are not about what's your credit score, but actually if you're making revenue. $5,000 a month is not a whole lot of money. What you're looking at, what, about $12.50? Not even that. That's the reason they said don't do math on camera, right? But at the same time, from what I'm trying to get you all to understand, that's what no, that not even that. Leave it alone, Houston. But going back to what I was saying, that making $5,000 a month is not a whole lot of money. As a self-employed person, if you have the right market. Here's the thing about it. Why so many people end up starting a business and end up going out of business so fast. It usually is not about raising capital. The problem with most people, and that I've learned this over the years, is that for most people, they end up not knowing how to market their company, nor do they know how to actually get a customer. All right. So those are the biggest things in terms of why people are not able to make as much money as they should, because they don't know where to start at. They think, oh, I gotta have all of this equipment up front, I gotta have all of this here. But if you don't know how to market yourself, you don't know how to talk to people, then it's going to make it very challenging, okay, for you to actually to build a thriving business. All right, so I'm just putting it out there. Hopefully you all understand. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I'm just letting you know that where you think it's about the money, it isn't about the money. It's about you actually knowing how to get a customer and how to maintain that customer. All right, so that's the reason why most people end up failing in business. Now, the next credit lender is NearSide. Now, I talked about NearSide. I made a video on them. And with NearSide, you have to have a bank account with them for at least 90 days. You have to have deposits and stuff. But they do loans up to $10,000. They don't charge any fees. So it's all about the activity. So again, they're not worried about your personal credit. They're not worried about, you know, your recent bankruptcy and stuff like that. They're worried about, are you doing business with us? So you have to have an active checking account with them directly, okay? It's not with any other bank. You have to have a checking account with them NearSide directly in order for them to want to work with you, okay? Now, here's another one, Reliant funding. Now, with Reliant funding, you have to be making between $5,000 to $10,000 a month. You have to be in business at least 6 months, okay? Now, again, most of these are active bank accounts. They're not looking about the personal credit. The only one that's on here that trips off of the personal credit, again, is BluVine, but you only have to have a 600. All right, so you don't have to focus on, man, I don't have a good credit score. I just gave you a couple solutions to get around that. But at the same time, having that revenue coming in. So if you're doing at least $5,000 a month from 3 months to 6 months, there are lenders that will be willing to work with you, but you have to prove that you're actually generating revenue in the business. All right. There's one more lender I want to talk about, and that's DreamSpring. Now, DreamSpring, they offer business loans. I have 80 credit score. So again, I made a video on it, very minimum requirements and stuff like that, but you do need to show that you are a profitable business, okay? So this is Houston. If you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, or you trying to figure out how do I remove some negative items off of the credit report, click the link in the description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.